Hello, I'm Dennis and I work for DiGidot Technologies as an embedded developer. And today I want to show you a demo where you can use a software that's called Madmapper, which is a content generator software, and that you can connect to the DiGidot C4 to create some simple lighting effects and also to record it on C4 so you don't need the software afterwards. So go ahead and plug the C4. My C4 is already plugged into the computer right now. So we want to go to the system settings because it's important to set up a so-called manual IP address. So over here I have, this is my network adapter, the USB one, and I want to configure a manual IP address. So I have 10.0.0.1 and a certain mask of 255.0.0.0. And if you configure it like this, it will always work with your ArtNet configuration. So this is good. I'll go ahead and close this. And let's open the DiGidot C4 interface by go ahead and opening the browser and go to the IP address 10.254.254.254, which can always be used if you connect to the C4. This is the interface. Let's go ahead and press the getting started, where you can start from scratch. If you have like a new device, it's the most easiest and convenient way to set up a DiGidot C4. Over here you can set up some different things like the project name and also the start of the IP address, which is normally 10.0.0.2, which is perfect because our computer is at 10.0.0.1, so it won't be the same IP address. It must be unique, of course. And for the output protocol, we're going to select the, we have a fixture over here, which is an X. This is a LED IC, which is called the TM1814, which is already selected over here, so go ahead and reselect that, the TM1814. Yes, let's delete the existing configuration. And we want to use the ArtNet protocol because that's the most commonly used protocol when you're using the DiGidot C4. We go ahead and press next. And over here you can set up how many universes that you want to configure at your output. This is an extended one, so you can also only configure one universe and not more. So that's perfect for us because we just want to configure one universe. And normally it wants to divide that universe evenly to spread the channels evenly across all of the outputs. But in this case, it will mean that you can only assign 128 channels for each output. But our fixture has more channels than 128, so we just want to use all the channels on one data port. And for that we just need to select the efficient button over here. And now we can see on the bottom we have 512 channels on port D1, which is perfect. So we go ahead and press next. Here are some other additional settings that you can change security things like using accounts or maybe some extra protocols that you need to listen on, but that's not important for now. So just skip this step and press next again. And that was the final step. So we are now done with configuring the DiGidot C4. We also want to verify if our configuration is correct and also if the LED fixture is working as it should. So we press finish and we go ahead and go to settings. And we have on the top left in and out configuration, and we see over here one universe with 512 channels, and over here you see a blue light bulb, and if you press that, then you see the whole fixture is now lighting up, which is exactly what we want. So now we go ahead and open the Madmapper software. I have it right here. And the first thing that we want to do is to connect the Madmapper software to the DiGidot C4 by using the ArtNet signal. On the top left you can see Madmapper, and then you have preferences that you can change the settings and discoverability of Madmapper. Here you have DMX, and DMX is by default on none, but we want to use the ArtNet option, which is shown over here, ArtNet. You can choose the interface that you want to send out ArtNet on. By default it's already selected to the white one. We just configured the IP address 10.0.0.1, so we also want to select the interface which contains that IP address. Maximum frame rate is 60, which is fine for now, and we want to use unicast. This is important because if you deselect this option, it will broadcast all the traffic to all devices on the network and it will just degrade your performance. So always use unicast, unless you're absolutely sure what you're doing. Press OK. Now we go ahead and add some fixtures, and for that on the top left we see the light bulb icon again. And you have here a button which is called DMX, so go ahead and press that. And you can already see that the signal is going from the Madmapper software all the way to the fixture. So we know that the connection between the C4 and the fixture is good. So So now we want to configure the connection to make good use of the LEDs, of course. And for that, we can see over here, we have a fixture library, which is now selected on Garage Cube. But we want to add our own fixture for this project. So over here, you have a drop-down menu where it says Scenes and Cues. We select the fixture editor option. And then we go ahead and select a new fixture, which is this plus sign. So this case is the fixture 2. And we want to also use a RGB variant. So the pixel type is not RGB, but RGBW. It can be RGB in your case, but we have an RGBW, so we want to match that to make it, of course, unified. And now, on the left side, it's important that also the Madmapper software is aware of the new fixture. So instead of using the Garage Cube on the left side, we want to use the generic fixture, which is now called fixture. You can see it over here, fixture 2. And now it's also important that you see the categories, so that's good. And now you can see that only one pixel is being highlighted. And we want to also increase that. Well, I already know that this fixture is 52 pixels wide. So I go ahead and enter 52. But of course, it can depend on your actual fixture, how many channels you're going to put in at this spot. But now we can assign, now we have every pixel being controlled by Madmapper. And if you have this, they can also do some different effects. So not only a solid color, but you also have like a gradient effect that you can have, a line repeater. There are like all different kinds of effects that you can choose from the built-in library from Madmapper on the top right. And yeah, you already created some basic patch, and with that information you can already show some different kinds of effects on your LEDs. So we want to choose a nice effect that you can record. Let's say the effect that we want to use is maybe shapes like this. And now we want to also use the C4 to actually record this effect and play it back without the need of the Madmapper software. So in that case, we go ahead and reopen the DiGidot C4 interface. And over here we have the option to create some scenes. So we open this. And now you can see that this frame rate of this effect is also quite a bit higher than the previous one, because it requires more frames to be sent for every second to make the effect more smooth, like this. So now we go ahead and record this effect by hitting the red button below. And now it's actually what you see is also being recorded on the SD card itself. So if we wait for a little while, like let's wait till 10 seconds, right now. And now we can actually fully disable the Madmapper software. So go ahead and do that right now. We don't want to save the setup. And if we press this button, this is now actually being played back from the DiGidot C4 itself. So we have the effect being recorded on C4. And we also want to have like some nice loop effect. So it also matches the start point with the end point, and it just creates a continuous scene instead of like have like an abrupt start or an ending of the scene. So over here you have different effects, and the one that you want to use is called Find Loop. It will automatically detect, scan the scene for every frame by frame, and to try to match when the pattern on the start is returning back, where it returns back on later on in the scene. So now it found a loop between 0 and 7 seconds, so let's go ahead and check that. So now the scene is being played at 2 seconds, 3 seconds, and if you look closely at 7 seconds, you can't notice the start and end point because it found a perfect loop in this case. And the last step to save the scene is to stop, of course, the preview, because we want to save the scene and not see the scene. Madmapper demo scene like this. Go ahead and press save. And now we can go to the scene page over here and play back the scene without the need of the Madmapper software. Thank you for your attention. Now you know how you can create a simple scene in combination with Madmapper, and also how you can configure your LED to be compatible with the DiGidot C4 controller and create the scene standalone, and you can enjoy Madmapper, or you can enjoy the scene without the need of any external software. Thank you for your attention.